Hello there, welcome to the show. So what we're doing today is this is part of a series. And it's a series around a group here in Dallas-Fort Worth that's called the Southwest Conflict Resolution Network. And we're bringing in people who work in alternative dispute resolution every single week to talk to you about their specific field and how they can benefit your life or the life of your business. I'm Josh Hart, and I'm joined today by Dana Garnett. Dana Garnett. I practiced that like 5 times. I am so sorry, Dana.
No worries at all. That's okay.
So, Dana, you're talking to us today about de-stressing?
De-stressing in the moment. Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how exactly does that work, and what is the benefit of that?
Okay, we're going to get into the how-to in just a short minute. The benefits are being able to address something that's happening to you when life takes hold. Basically enhancing your decision-making, your response, and the communication around it, and getting through that problem much more effectively to avoid any escalation of conflict that could come from.
Now, is this one of those like that you read about, like the count to 5 and the do the yoga pose and have some hot herbal tea? Are those the kind of things we're talking about today?
Actually, not
oh, okay,
that.
Good.
What we're talking about is something. It's what I like to call the eyes wide open technique. It's a technique used that was created by the HeartMath Institute in California, and we'll get into that as I said. But no, this is something that you can use anytime in life. And as working with the people that I work with in conflict resolution, mediation, this has helped me tremendously in my work, but also is a tool that I came to know about when I was going through my own life crisis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So is this a good time to launch?
It is a great time to launch into it.
Okay, cool. So basically, first of all, I want to say I want to thank the Southwest Conflict Resolution Network. It's an organization. I'm actually the membership committee chair based here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And SWCRN, we're a not-for-profit professional organization dedicated to the facilitation, awareness, and advancement of dispute resolution through education, networking, and community involvement. It's a qualified 501c6 non-for-profit corporation. And whether your field of interest is conflict resolution and you need to collaborate or network with other conflict resolution specialists, or you have a need for a specialist for your own situation, CRN is a great place to come to. You can find it at www.swcrn.com. We specialize in alternative dispute resolution, and ADR, if you will, is used to describe a number of methods of resolving disputes that are alternatives to an adversarial legal process with the potential for a resolution, going beyond what a court can order. It actually gives the parties true control of their own destiny, shall we say, rather than standing before a judge and having someone tell you what things are going to be like for your life going forward. Benefits include preservation of relationships, reductions in cost, and potential savings in time. So ADR is a great path to go. We sponsor dispute resolution education events. We provide professional development to our members. We establish networking opportunities, as I've mentioned, and we create opportunities for enhancing dispute resolution in our community. We also advance the field of dispute resolution through professional contact, ethical behavior, and improved knowledge and techniques. So again, if you want to become a member, you can become a regular member for 12 months, or a student member for a year, or an associate member. If you have any questions about that, you can contact me. I'll be getting my contact information at the end of the session.
There's also free food. So
yeah, that is true. Yeah. That's right.
I think you skipped the best part.
Sorry about that. Yeah, you bet. That's right.
There's free food there. So
right. At the monthly events, we have free food, and yes.
I've gone to a handful of the monthly event that were there, and they're very impactful. The speakers you have are phenomenal. So even if you can't commit to a full time and you want to learn more about ADR, it's a great program just to go in and you can hear really mindful people speak on things that that really impact your day-to-day life and the life of your company and the culture of your company. So either way, it's a good thing to check out and to have in mind. You can follow them on Facebook or follow them on their website and kind of see what they have coming up.
Yeah, thank you, Josh. That's
No
great.
problem.
So, good time to go into what I do specifically and all that. Okay, my practice is called Mindful Strategy. I am a mediator and conflict coach. I specialize in helping women who are facing divorce, who don't know anything about the divorce process and feel so lost and are afraid of what's going to happen when it's all over. I help them to shift really quickly to that place where they can make clear legal and financial decisions for themselves that support themselves now and in the future. Sometimes this leads me into working with small and family businesses. I'm also a CPA, so I can appreciate the business operations around organizations. But divorce sadly affects a lot of small and family businesses, or even marital issues. So helping them to get a handle on that quickly it can be paramount to the success or failure of some businesses.
It's one of those things that people don't think about, but one of my favorite restaurants used to be in downtown Dallas, and because of the divorce, they had to sell off assets, and they ended up losing this. And for me, it was like, this stinks, because they make a really good Cuban sandwich. But for them, obviously, it's divorce and the hardships that went along with that, and ultimately losing a job and a source of income. So
that's right. Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, I'm sorry to hear about.
Yeah, the Cuban was phenomenal.
That happened, to that family.
I'm still not quite over it yet. It's been like 4 years, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
It's a slow process.
Well, hopefully they're managing okay.
Exactly.
And if they're listening and need any help, please call. So, so I'd like to also say why am I here with you today? Because we're colleagues. We met at SMU in the Dispute Resolution Program. But I'm here today because I'm recovered from my own divorce. I went through the whole PTSD thing around it, and I had a 20-year marriage. I was hit from the shock of the announcement from my husband at the time that he wanted a divorce. Fast forward 18 months, I felt just incredibly vulnerable and bullied by the whole process, and especially the mediation process. And at the time, I didn't know there were different styles of mediation. So I came out of that vowing not to have others suffer as I had. Because no one knows about divorce. There's no education around that except baptism by fire. So, and had I known what I know now, with all the techniques and the processes, and all the work I've done, I could have saved literally nearly $200,000 in legal costs, and not to mention emotional cost, and a year of therapy. My children would not have suffered so much. My ex-husband would not have suffered so much, even though we were embattled at the time. It really takes its toll on people. So, so what I'd like to do is, in the time we have today, demonstrate with you, Josh, if that's okay.
Great, yeah.
A really cool technique that does help us de-stress in the moment. This is a technique that has been designed by the HeartMath Institute. I'm a certified HeartMath trainer. And let's first start by talking about what can just trigger us in the moment. Let's say somebody cuts you off in traffic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
That's a big one for me.
Big one? Yeah.
You have found me out.
Okay. During a divorce, for example, let's say you get an email from your attorney through your to-be ex's attorney that they're now placing a gag order on you. Okay, that can trigger and freak some people out. Yep. Maybe your business partner has decided to commit to a very risky supplier without consulting you.
Sure.
So these are things that just happen, again, in everyday life that we are met with.
Yep.
So we're going to go through the how-to of taking the charge out of stress in those moments. Something that has paid off for me time and time again using this particular technique, when I'm in mediation, for example, I always ask the attorneys at some point if I could speak to their parties one-on-one. Just, always get permission first. And usually, just to kind of see what's going on, tap into them.
Yeah.
And usually the attorneys will say, please.
Yeah.
Please talk to them. Do whatever you can. And so we'll agree to meet. I agree to meet with the attorneys afterwards to debrief. And every time they come back and say, what did you say? What
Yeah.
did you do? Because in 15 to 20 minutes, you got him, her to shift to actually accept what the other's offering. We've been working on this a year, and you did this in 15, 20 minutes? How did that happen?
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't have the time to go into all of that with him at the time, but I'm going to share with you one of the things I'm doing constantly through the mediation, but also just, you know, it's in part tapping into what's going on with him at the moment. So, and actually this particular technique I don't teach in mediation. That's not what we're there to do as mediators. But this technique actually involves de-stressing, if you will, our electromagnetic field, because every time our heart beats, electricity is produced. And when electricity is present, there's an electromagnetic field.
Yeah.
And the HeartMath Institute has done a lot of research, and over the years, they've discovered that when, well, with respect to our electromagnetic field, we can measure that out at least 3 feet from the body. The brain also has electric pulses, but it only measures an inch from our body.
Oh.
So everything's based
Yeah.
at the heart, right? And so, you know, you can walk in a room and sense the tension, the stress, right? Or you can walk into a room and like, wow, I want to be here. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Those are our electromagnetic fields bumping up against each other. So as a mediator, I use this tool all the time to keep the room de-stressed and support the parties in that way, and also to keep myself de-stressed and not get attached to what's going on with the parties at the time. So, okay, so here we go. I'm going to hook you up to some biofeedback software.
Well, now I'm stressed. Here we go.
This is called M-Wave Pro software, biofeedback software from the HeartMath Institute. And I'm going to need to
My
have
ear?
access to one of your earlobes.
There you go.
Are you okay if I put this
pull
on?
this luscious hair back for you.
It is. I love it. Okay, that's great. And I'm going to connect this clip just so that the, there we go. That way the ear piece is not pressured by hanging down there.
I'm gonna need a passcode here.
Yes. Okay. I'm gonna.
We'll hide it from everyone so they don't see. You know, top security here.
Hang on, just 1 second.
There we go.
Okay. All right. So, one thing to comment about, this is called the quick coherence technique, and basically. I'll back up a step here. HeartMath is a system of optimal energetic alignment of all of our physiological systems, okay? And coherence is a state where heart and mind and emotions are in energetic alignment and cooperation with each other. So if we are stressed, there's like this static line, if you will, between our heart and our brain. But when we go into a coherent state, that's a smooth line. And what this software does, it measures the distance between our heartbeats, and it's measuring what they call heart rate variability, all right?
Okay.
And we can literally, in a heartbeat, bring ourselves from a stress moment to a more aligned place between our heart and brain. And when we're in that space, all of our systems are aligned, digestive, immune, emotional, parasympathetic, sympathetic, such that we're at an optimal place to make far better decisions in the moment and problem solve and communicate. So I'm going to test this that it's going to calibrate properly.
Oh, okay. So do I have to stay still?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, in a second. No, you're going to just stay relaxed the whole time. Sorry, I forgot one step. Before we do this, and I'm going to walk you through this step or this technique. It'll involve focusing on your heart and then taking deep breaths through your heart, slower and deeper than you're normally doing. And then the second step of it is what we call activating a feeling or regenerating a feeling of positive, something positive in your life, or a feeling of appreciation for something in your life. So I'd like to give you a second, Josh, to, for yourself, what is something that you, just for you and you alone, brings you joy or ease? It's like some people will say, it's this beautiful sunset I saw on my vacation, or every time I get upset, my pet just knows to come up and curl up in my lap and you know, give me comfort. Or you know, this is actually used with first responders. Huge project in the Netherlands going on where they're training every single police officer in the Dutch National Police Force, and they turn to courage in the moment. Like what gives them that feeling of pride or joy or ease for something in your life. So do you have something you can reflect? You do not have to share. No, you do not have to share it. Okay, so we're going to walk this through, and I'm going to start this up in just a second. Okay. I'm going to ask you if you're comfortable to close your eyes the first time you do this, because all the stimulants in the room and looking at the screen is going to maybe distract. Okay, so you can keep your eyes open for a second.
Okay, got it.
So I'm going to start this up. Okay, it's calibrating.
Matt, in the studio, do we have a good look at the view of the screen?
Okay, got that? Good. Great. Okay. So the bottom is showing your pulse. And in a moment, that's going to actually change to a collective measurement of your heart rate variability. The upper part of the screen, where it says HRV in little bitty letters, is your heart rate variability. All right. And depending on our state, it might be jagged, it might be smooth. We might see blue or red lines, which kind of indicate a disconnect between heart and brain. So, Josh, what I'd like you to do right now is, you can eyes wide open or whatever you want to do. What's something that is stressing you out right now, or something that could have happened today, could have happened 5 years ago, doesn't matter, but something that really gets under your skin, or you want to talk? Can you talk about that for a second? I mean, if it's not too personal, there's something that's yeah.
So in a previous episode, I'll bring the show into the mix here. One of my coworkers accused audiobooks of not being real books. And I was very offended by that. He's rolling his eyes right now. I was very offended by that because audiobooks are real books, and so that's one of the things that we had a conversation about, and we had a heated conversation, which I mediated very well, I think. But yeah, that was one of those. It's a common misconception that people think that because you listen to a book and not physically turn a page, that you don't deserve the same credit for finishing the book.
Okay. Sounds like something very important to you.
It was very important.
Near and dear to your heart. Okay.
My voice was raised. My cheeks were flushed.
Got it. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, thank you for sharing that.
Of course.
Okay. So now what we're going to do is go into this quick coherence technique. So just sitting comfortably, if you're okay to close your eyes. Okay. All right. And focus your attention on your heart, where it is at the center of your body. And breathe in and out of your heart or chest area slower and deeper than usual. And as you're doing this, make a sincere attempt to regenerate a feeling of appreciation or joy for something in your life. And just stay with that. Focusing on our heart. And heart focused breathing in and out as if you're breathing through your heart or chest area. Slower and deeper than usual. And as we do this, regenerate a feeling of joy, ease, appreciation for something in your life. Okay, nice. So whenever you're ready, Josh, you can open your eyes, take a look at the screen here. So on the far left, I hooked you up to this software, didn't know it was coming, right? Talked about the whole audiobooks thing, which like really gets you. Okay, so that, I'm just going to indicate here, so all of this right here is that conversation. Yep. Yeah. The minute you started focusing on your heart, it brought you down to a place where you now see this smoother sine wave. And something after I directed you to go to that place of appreciation.
Yeah.
Something, I sense something maybe, because this is your first time to do
Yeah.
this, maybe, and for some people they say it's hard for me to stay there, I'm not sure, I bounce around or whatever, so I'm not sure what's going on there, but when I reiterated the step, you can see immediately you got that beautiful sine wave going. By focusing on your heart, and it happens literally in a heartbeat. It's that fast, okay? And now that we're talking about it and looking at the screen, it's, you're not as focused on that connection, and so we see a little more, not disconnect, but
not as conjoined.
Not as conjoined, exactly. So we want to be in that place of coherence when we're making serious decisions. When a police officer is firing their gun or a firefighter is going into a burning building, if they know about coherence and they can be in that state, they're going to be far better to support themselves and whoever they're helping in that moment, because they can think so clearly in that moment. So I use this tool when I'm working with clients. We start off our sessions this way, and then I teach them this so they can do this anytime. So I'm gonna disconnect you now, but I want to thank you. Let me ask you this: what was your experience with this?
It was interesting.
What was going on? What was going on when we started into it? So you started getting it started working, and then you kind of looks like something happened, and then you came right back to it.
I was doing this show live. I was worried about how are we getting the next segment. So I started off thinking about, and it was my son laughing. It's the way he gets tickled and laughs. It's adorable, and that was the smooth part. And then going, where are we going next? Is this about to wrap up? So thinking about the next segment, I became a little more anxious.
Sure, absolutely, got it. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna detach you here.
I like it.
And oops, sorry. There we go. Cool. All right. So so basically, kind of wrapping this, going to the next part of this is that we can actually, this is something we can just de-stress in the moment with, but also we can take this to another level and basically. Using this, we can use this throughout the day. There are so many knock-on effects of this. You can raise your baseline of resilience. There are other tools and techniques with heart math that I teach and I do workshops on and all of that.
Sure.
So, but I have to say, this was a critical tool in helping me recover from my PTSD and paramount to recovering from codependency.
Well, the good part about this, for people out there who may be skeptical about, for me, having green tea or those kind of things, it's one of those issues that you can see it. You can see it's tangible. I can see the lines move up and down, and I know that's my actual heart rate. I know that it has calmed down, that my emotional level, you can kind of see those things blend out. And so you can kind of see that as you go along, which really helps, I think, for the skeptics that may be out there.
Sure.
Go, okay, I can buy into this now, and let's have a conversation.
Yeah.
One of the things that we learned in our program is that when you're emotional, you can't think logically. Those two planes can't exist at the same time. So when you're engaged in something and you're heated, like I am about my audiobooks, I can't be logical in that moment because I'm engaged and my emotions are taking control. And so being able to do this and to take your tips and your strategy and to de-stress and come down and go, okay, now I can be logical in this conversation and really focus on what I need to focus on to find resolution.
Yeah. That's so true. That is so true. When I speak to particularly business audiences, I often start off with saying, okay, I'm going to talk about soft skills, but these are backed by hard facts. A lot of scientific evidence behind this. And I also say to them, I promise we're not going to hold hands and sing Kumbaya.
Exactly.
This is like real stuff, real time.
Yeah.
That's why my tagline for my practice is real-time resolution for real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So, anyway, I wanted to, if I could, make an offer.
Sure.
Okay, to listeners out there. If you're going through a divorce and you want to come out alive, or you're maybe a business team that needs better communication with conflict management techniques, please contact me, and I will, the first 10 listeners that reach out on my website, www.mindfulstrategy.com, you will have your own personal, free, de-stress in the moment consultation with me.
That's great.
And to see maybe how I might be able to help you with something. And I just want to appreciate you, Josh, for having me here today, and this has been really fun. I was very excited about doing this today.
Yeah, no, it's been phenomenal, and I highly suggest reaching out, even if you're not one of the first 10, just to go through and to run through this and to be able to see that it actually works, and you saw the lines move, and you know that there's an actual process. But or to have you come out to speak to your organization about how little quick things that you can do. This is one of the great lunch and learn segments that you can do. Sure. As you saw here in half an hour, really wraps it up. So, Dana, thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I really appreciate it again. And yeah, if it's not the first 10, that's great, because I'm holding some special spots for those first 10. But beyond that, absolutely, you can always contact me. www.mindfulstrategy.com.
And again, it's Dana. And
Dana.
I appreciate you coming in. Thank you so much.
Dana Garnett. Yeah.
Have a great day.